Presented by Ceramic Speed, part of the victory.
Oh, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob. My name is Bob Babbitt. We are at Challenge Denmark, and my next guest, one of our favorites, Martin Jensen. Martin, how the heck are you?
Well, thank you. I'm very good. It's a pleasure to race in Denmark, and we have the summer arriving just for this race, so it's pretty nice.
And I saw your double secret setup, the Ceramic Speed thing you got going. So talk a little bit about the Ceramic Speed product.
Oh, well, I've been with Ceramic Speed for many years now, and I've ridden all of their products, and they've really just developed as a company. They started with only doing bearings for wheels and bottom brackets, and then pulley wheels, and now they have chains. And all that it's just evolving all the time, and now I have this prototype product also I'm testing.
It's double secret. We won't show anybody.
No,
we'll just mention it's double secret.
Yeah, but it will be launched sometimes during the summer.
Tour de France, I think. So
everybody will see, but it's really nice, and it will be a game changer.
And it'll be your secret weapon tomorrow.
It will be. I mean, there's no secret that I care about my bike, and I'm very picky about what I use, and I'm very happy to use all the Ceramic Speed products on it. So,
what's been the biggest change as a guy who really dominates on the bike? What's been the biggest change for you in terms of your cycling? Has it been a position change on the bike? Has it been equipment? What has it been?
Oh, well, now I'm riding on a Cervelo P5, and for me it's the best bike I've ever ridden, and really I'm comfortable on it, and I have very good setup, and it's I've just been able to post bike splits on that bike that I haven't been able to do before, and I can also see from my numbers in the training that I am getting stronger from year to year, but still, I mean, I'm getting a really good speed per power ratio right now, and that confirms me that I have a good setup.
So we were talking a little before, and you mentioned that probably one of your best wins was at the 70.3 in Racine.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that, because people don't think of Ironman 70.3 Racine as a race, but you had a really good field there.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of races all the time, and sometimes you just get a really strong competition gathered, and that was one of those years, and I beat Andrew Starkowitz on his home turf, and that's not easy. And
you stayed with him on a bike.
Yeah, pretty much for a long time. I had to let him go a bit at the end, but I mean, I had a very, very strong bike there, and that was what set me up for the win.
When I saw you at Challenge Dubai, you were on fire. And I don't know if that was one of your better days in terms of the way you felt on the bike, but it's one of those days too, and we've had this a lot in triathlon, where there was confusion and all of a sudden guys who were behind you were in front of you. Knowing that you were leading the race and you're trying to keep your emotions in check and not waste energy, how hard was it to try to do that when there's big prize money out there, this big television, and all of a sudden there's people in front of you who never passed you?
Oh, for sure, it was very, very frustrating, and trying not to waste any energy on it, but that's basically impossible, because racing is, I mean, when you're racing, that's all you do, and you are so committed to it, and it's so emotional. So really, to not have it affect you is impossible. And I mean, it was an unfortunate situation, and it's been talked about a lot since in all kinds of media, and it is what it is. I mean, it's in the past, and that's the way. But for me, that was my strongest bike performance ever, and to not have the ability to use that advantage on the run was a huge disappointment for me.
And especially because it was a windy day, a blowing day. It was a perfect day for the strongest. The strongest cyclist was going to win that race.
I mean, it's definitely a possibility that I could have won, and for me, I ended up in 5th place, and there's a heck of a lot prize money difference between 5th place and 1st place. So I mean, this and just for my career, a big win like that would have been amazing.
So speaking of big wins, tomorrow you're racing here in your home country, and in the last couple of years, you've got Ironman Copenhagen, you've got Challenge Denmark. Big races are coming to your country.
Yeah.
How important is this race for you?
Oh, it's very important, and also because this is the first big race in this part of the country where I grew up. So basically, it's like a home course race. I grew up 40 miles from here.
Yes.
So it's very important for me, and I tried to do the race a few times in Copenhagen when it was a challenge race.
Yes.
But was unfortunate. Had a DNF due to many punctures, which is one of the things that happens in Denmark.
Well, now, why is that?
No, because we have so many of those flintstones.
Thorns and things like that?
No,
Yeah.
not thorns, but very flintstones, like
Rocks?
yeah, little rocks that are very sharp.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And sort of when it rains, they flood onto the road and they turn in the rain and they just cut your tire. And in that race in Copenhagen back in 2010, I had one more puncture than I had spare tubes, and I was
You're out.
Out of the race, leading at that time with 8 minutes. So that was like a big disappointment for me back then. But that's the way it is, and I just really, really want to have a win in Denmark. I mean, that's important to me.
Do you use different tires racing here, or are you just little less air, or the fact that we haven't had much rain, is that a little better?
I've had a good look on the weather forecast for tomorrow, and it's gonna rain, but not until after the bike ride.
Okay.
So I opted for my fastest tires, which is not the most puncture resistant, but I'm running a setup with a sealant inside the tube. So hopefully, if I'm unlucky, the sealant will take care of it, or if not, I'm running a clincher setup so I can change the tube in.
So how does a guy with a degree in environmental engineering end up as a professional triathlete?
Oh, well, that's a good question. It sort of just happened by accident. I was back in 2008. I went to the ITU Long Distance World Championships
Got a bronze.
And got a bronze, and I was like, whoa, that was a surprise for me. And I sort of just thought, I'm pretty good at this. Maybe I should give it a try. And I said, okay, I'm gonna take 1 year off from school in 2008.
Yes.
And see how it goes, and so 1 year turned into now 7 years, and maybe one day I'll have to come back and finish school. So I started out to have a master's degree, but I currently stuck at my bachelor's degree. So we'll have to see if
plenty of time
if I'll finish that, or if I mean, School of Life, life as a triathlete is a good education also. So I'm sure plenty of opportunities will show for the future.
And then in 2009, you got another bronze, right?
Yeah.
Got so 2 years in a row. Then you won the Danish long distance championship, and then a silver at the ETU long distance champs, the second Ironman Louisville. So you've had some really, really good results.
Yeah, most of my races have been almost. I mean, second place, third places,
yeah,
stuff like that. So I mean, I'm starting to want to collect some wins.
Yes.
So
starting tomorrow.
No, started last week with a win at the Danish Championships in sprint distance. So
you got Thomas gave you a little battle.
Yeah.
And that kid's 21 years old. What do you think of him?
Oh, well, for sure he's going to be a star of the future. I mean, he's a young guy. He's training with our ITU squad, so he's still doing some of that kind of racing
got the speed
to just sort of work on his skills, and he's got plenty of time to transition into long distance, where I'm sure he will be in 5 years. He will be a factor.
So is Kona a goal for you? You were 18th there in your debut?
Yeah, and it's the only time I've been there.
Right.
I definitely want to go back, but it's not a must-do thing for me.
Okay.
I have other races that I also want to do. I really want to do Roth because I've never been there, but I've just heard so many amazing things of me.
Yes.
My best friends in the sport is like Dirk Bockel, Rasmus Henning. They've both won that race and sub 8 hours, and I can just see myself do a very good race there.
That's a great bike course for you.
It is.
Power that course.
Yeah. So that's something I want to do. I'm trying to convince my coach to do it this year, but we'll have to see.
That's a month away. You got plenty of time.
Yeah.
And so without Kona in the picture for this year, what will the end of your season look like? What are you thinking?
Well, I started out the season wanting to focus on the Triple Crown, and those 3 races. Now the Oman race is cancelled, and we don't quite yet know what's going to happen with that race. But definitely Bahrain in November, and then I'm going to see with like between now and November, I'm just going to pick some races and have some fun.
Well, and obviously with the wind you get in both Dubai and Bahrain, and with the 20-meter draft rule, that's good for you. Now there's going to be an Ironman event in both, as well as a challenge race in both. So you might be spending a little bit of your time over there.
Yeah, just earlier today I was joking that I'm gonna get an apartment down there for the winter because I'm gonna spend so much time there. Yeah, for sure. It's interesting things happening in the sport right now in that region, and I heard rumors of more races being announced very soon.
Macca mentioned that in our meeting that he was about to do that. Yeah.
So I mean, we're just gonna have to see, and if all those races will have prize money like in the Triple Crown series, for sure. I mean, it's going to change the focus for a lot of guys.
I remember Tim Reed was telling us after Dubai, it's like, listen, the way things are now, he might be taking time off in July and focusing on that winter season because that's where the dollars are.
Yeah, but for now, I mean, everything really interesting in the sport is happening between like 70.3 Worlds in September and February with Challenge Dubai. And in that period, I mean, that's where all the big money is. And then there's like Roth and Frankfurt here in the summer. But, I mean, if you're not a winner in those races, there are so many other races now that you can do and really get exposure and have a shot of great prize money.
Are you a better half guy or full? What's the better distance for you? Or does it depend on the course?
Yeah, well, obviously it's course dependent, but I think I'm more suited for the 70.3 distance right now, but mainly because every time I try to do Ironman races, I end up injured. So,
what is the same type of injury?
No, but I mean stress fractures.
Yes.
Like in Dubai, I had a stress fracture in my femur bone happening on the finish line.
Oh, you got it there.
Yeah, like I was running down the finish chute, and my girlfriend was yelling at me because Bart Arnott was coming from the behind, and I was just made a strong acceleration. 2-3 steps, and I could feel a snap in my leg, and I was like limping all the way to the finish line, straight to the hospital, and terrible finish to that race.
Well, then you have to take some time off.
Yeah, so I had 6-7 weeks off after Dubai and started building, but amazingly, I've come back to fitness faster than ever before in my injury career. So I'm surprised that I'm as fit as I am right now.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, Martin, good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Have yourself a great race, and hopefully we'll have a chance to chat with you tomorrow after you win a race in your home country.
I hope so.
I love it. Martin Jensen has been our guest again. This is Breakfast with Bob. We're brought to you by Ceramic Speed, Martin's sponsor, and he'll be showcasing a product that we can't tell you about, or we'd have to kill all of you who are watching right now. Double secret. You'll see it at the Tour de France, but Martin will be riding it tomorrow. And we are at beautiful LEGOLAND. Hold on, everyone. We'll be right back.
Presented by Ceramic Speed, part of the victory.